March 26, 1945. 12th Army Group Headquarters, Badenheim, Germany. General Omar Bradley is on the phone with Eisenhower. They're discussing supply allocations, fuel trucks, ammunition depots, the boring logistics that actually win wars. Then his operations officer walks in. The man's face has gone completely white. Bradley holds up one finger. Wait. He's still listening to Eisenhower talk about gasoline ratios. The operations officer doesn't wait. Sir, we have a situation with Third Army. Bradley covers the phone. Music. Not now, sir. It's urgent. How urgent, General Patton? Urgent, sir. Bradley closes his eyes. Of course it is. Ike, I need to call you back. He hangs up before Eisenhower can respond. What did George do now? The operations officer places a radio message on Bradley's desk. Third Army reports their forward elements have reached Aschaffenburg. Bradley stares at the message. Then he stands up, walks to the wall map, traces Third Army's last known position with his finger. Frankfurt. They were in Frankfurt yesterday. He moves his finger east to Affenburg. 60 meters. When did this message arrive? 15 minutes ago, sir. It's time-stamped this morning. Bradley does the math in his head. If they reached Aschaffenburg this morning, and they were in Frankfurt yesterday evening, they advanced 60 meters overnight. Yes, sir. 60 miles in one night. Yes, sir. Bradley sits down slowly. That's impossible. Apparently not, sir. For a long moment, Bradley just stares at the map. Third Army is now a blue arrow, extending deep into Germany alone. 60 mi ahead of First Army, 80 miles ahead of 9th Army completely. Unsupported. Where are their flanks? The operations officer hesitates. Exposed? Sir, how exposed? Completely exposed, sir. They're in a salient. One German. Counterattack. Could cut them off entirely. Bradley pinches the bridge of his nose. Get me, Patton. We're trying, sir. Third Army communications are stretched. They've advanced so fast that their radio equipment can't maintain reliable contact with headquarters. We're working through relays, Bradley laughs. It's not a happy sound. Of course they are. George is moving faster than radio waves. 20 minutes later, the phone rings. Bradley snatches it up. George. Brad. Patton's voice is cheerful. Did you get my position report? I got it. You're in Aschaffenburg. That's right. You were in Frankfurt yesterday. Also correct. Bradley takes a breath. George, that's 60 meters. 63. Actually, I measured it on the map. You can't advance 60 miles. In one day, why not? Why not, George? There are German divisions between Frankfurt and Aschaffenburg. Hallamacum of work. Patton corrects, past tense. They retreated. I pursued, and now I'm in Aschaffenburg, and they're somewhere else. Probably running toward Berlin. Bradley can feel a headache forming. George, doctrine is after a breakthrough you consolidate your position before advancing. Doctrine also said the Rhine was impregnable. I crossed it with some boats. And a band of angry Machurans. Maybe doctrine isn't always right. George. Brad, listen to me. I know you're worried. I know this looks reckless, but I can feel it. The Germans are beaten. Not just tactically, psychologically. They've lost the will to fight. If I stop now to consolidate, I give them time to recover, time to organize new defensive lines, but if I keep pushing, keep the pressure on, they'll collapse completely. Bradley is quiet for a moment, because the terrible thing is Patton might be right. Where are you planning to go next? Würzburg? Then Nuremberg, then we'll see. Maybe Prague, maybe Austria. Wherever Germans need killing, that's where I'm going. George, I can't authorize you to advance wherever you want. Then don't authorize it, Patton says. Just don't order me to stop. I'll take silence as permission. That's not how chain the command works, isn't it? Brad, you're the best friend I have in this army. You've protected me when Ike wanted to fire me. You've given me opportunities when everyone else wrote me off. So I'm asking you now, as friend, let me finish this. Let me end this war the only way I know how. By giving me a heart attack. Patton laughs. You'll survive. You always do. The line goes dead. Bradley looks at the phone in his hand. He hung up on me again. His operations officer clears his throat. Sir, what should I tell the staff? Bradley replaces the phone carefully. Tell them Third Army is advancing. Exact positions unknown. Expected rate of advance impossible. Section 2, the tracking problem. March 27, 1945. Bradley's intelligence section is in chaos. Sir, we have 3 different position reports for Third Army, all conflicting. Bradley looks at the reports spread across his desk. One says, Third Army is in Würzburg. Another, they're approaching Schweinfurt. A third says elements have been spotted near Bamberg. Which is correct? They're all ours, sir. Explain. Third Army is advancing on multiple axes simultaneously. Different divisions are in different locations. They're spread across 80 miles of German territory. Bradley walks to the map. His staff has been trying to mark Third Army's positions with blue pins. The result looks like someone fired a shotgun at Bavaria. This is a nightmare. Yes, sir. Sir, there's another problem. Of course there is. The position reports are arriving 6 to 12 hours after they're sent. By the time we plot Third Army's location, they're already moved. How far? Based on their rate of advance, 20 to 30 meters, sir. Bradley does some quick mental math. Third Army is now advancing faster than his intelligence can track them. He's commanding an entire army, and he has no idea where they actually are at any given moment. Get me, Eisenhower? The call goes through quickly. Ike's voice is strained. Brad, where is Third Army? That's an excellent question, sir. That's not an answer, sir. Their last position report put them near Würzburg, but that was 8 hours ago. They could be anywhere within a 50-mile radius by now. Silence on the line. Then you don't know where your own army is, sir. They're advancing faster than we can track them. By the time position reports arrive, they're already obsolete. Brad, I need to know where Third Army is. The Russians are advancing from the east. We have demarcation lines. If Patton advances too far east, he could run into Soviet forces. I understand, sir. Do you? Because right now, it sounds like you have an entire army operating completely independently because they're moving too fast to control. Bradley doesn't have a good response to that. Because it's true. I'll get current positions, sir. Do that. And, Brad, tell George to slow down. I'll try. That's not a... Yes. It's the best I can offer. After hanging up, Bradley calls Third Army headquarters. He reaches General Hobart Gay, Patton's chief of staff. Gay, where is Third Army? Elements are approaching Würzburg. Other elements are pushing towards Breuth. Some units are securing our southern flank near Schweinfurt. Bradley marks all 3 locations. They form a triangle covering 80 meters. Where is Patton? There's a pause. We're not entirely sure, sir. You don't know where your commanding general is? Sir, General Patton is conducting forward reconnaissance. He does that frequently. He'll check in when he's ready. When did he last check in? This morning, sir, he was in Aschenberg. That was 8 hours ago, sir. So he could be anywhere. That's accurate, sir. Bradley hangs up and turns to his operations officer. Start a list, sir. Things General Patton has done that should be impossible. Number 1, advanced 60 meters in 1 day. Number 2, became impossible to locate. Add to it as needed. Section 3, the Ghost Commander. March 29th, 1945. For 3 days, no one can find Patton. Position reports arrive regularly from Third Army divisions. They're advancing, taking objectives, fighting when necessary. But Patton himself has vanished. Bradley receives multiple reports from multiple sources. A reconnaissance pilot saw a jeep matching Patton's description near Bamberg. An MP checkpoint logged a 3-star general passing through toward Nuremberg. Sir, Bradley's aide says carefully, is it possible General Patton is 200 meters behind enemy lines? Bradley considers this. With any other commander, the answer would be no. Absolutely not. Impossible. With Patton, yes, that's exactly where he is. Should we send someone to find him? He doesn't want to be found. George is doing what George does best, being somewhere he's not supposed to be. March 30th, Third Army reaches Nuremberg. Nuremberg, Hitler's ceremonial city, the symbolic heart of Nazi power. And Third Army has just arrived at its gates after advancing 200 meters across Germany in 8 days. Bradley calls Eisenhower immediately. "Sir, Third Army has reached Nuremberg already? I thought they were at Warburg yesterday." "They were. They covered 60 meters in 36 hours. Eisenhower is quiet. Then, "Brad, that's insane." "Yes, sir. No army can sustain that pace." "Apparently, Third Army can, sir." "Where is Patton?" "Unknown. He's been conducting forward reconnaissance for 3 days. We've lost track of him. You've lost a 3-star general. It's more accurate to say he refuses to be found, sir." Eisenhower laughs despite himself. "He's ungovernable, yes, sir. But he's also winning. That's the only reason I haven't fired him. Brad, when you do find George, tell him to slow down. We have demarcation lines with the Soviets if he advances too far east." "I understand, sir." "Do you? Because right now, Patton is operating like an independent warlord. He's not coordinating with anyone. He's not following orders. He's just advancing wherever he wants." "Sir, every time I've ordered George to stop, he's found a way around it. He'll say he's consolidating forward positions or eliminating pockets of resistance. Technically not disobeying, but still advancing. Then, be less technical. Tell him explicitly stop." "I will, sir, if I can find him." Section 4. The Call. April 1st, 1945. Patton, finally, returns to Third Army headquarters. Bradley has been waiting, so has a direct phone line to Eisenhower. "George, sit down." Patton grins. "You look tired, Brad. I've spent 4 days trying to find you. I wasn't lost. I knew exactly where I was. Nobody else did." Patton shrugs. "I was scouting. Someone needs to see the terrain personally before we advance into it. You were 200 meters behind enemy lines. Technically, they're not behind enemy lines if my army controls them." Bradley closes his eyes. "George Eisenhower wants to talk to you." "Of course he does." Bradley hands Patton the phone. This is Patton. Eisenhower's voice is cold enough that Bradley can hear it from across the room. "George, do you have any idea where you've been for the past 4 days?" "Yes, sir. Reconnoitering routes toward Czechoslovakia without authorization, without support. 200 meters from your headquarters." "Sir, the Germans are beaten." "I needed to see how beaten. So I went and looked." "You went and looked behind enemy lines with what security?" "My driver and my pistols. That's all the security I need." Bradley can hear Eisenhower's exasperated breath through the phone. "George, you can't just drive around Germany like you're on a sightseeing tour." "Why not? The Germans are running away. They're not counterattacking." "Sir, I've been doing this for 3 years. I know when an enemy is finished." "That's not the point. The point is coordination, communication, chain of command. Sir, respectfully, those things slow me down. The Germans are retreating. In chaos. Every hour I spend coordinating is an hour they spend reorganizing. I'd rather keep the pressure on at the risk of running into Soviet forces. I'll handle the Soviets if I meet them." "George, sir, I've advanced 200 meters in 9 days. My casualties are low. German resistance is collapsing. We're achieving every objective ahead of schedule. What exactly am I doing wrong?" Eisenhower is quiet for a long moment. "Nothing." "That's the problem. You're succeeding while violating every principle of modern military command. Maybe those principles need updating, sir." Eisenhower laughs. "It sounds pained. George, I'm not ordering you to stop, but I am ordering you to file regular position of reports. I need to know where you are." "I'll try, sir." "That's not good enough. It's the best you're getting, sir. If I stop to file paperwork every hour, I'm not advancing. You can have coordination or you can have speed. Choose." The line goes dead. Patton hands the phone back to Bradley. He hung up on the Supreme Allied commander. He'll get over it. He always does. Bradley sits down heavily. "George, you've advanced 200 meters in 9 days. You're operating semi-independently. You're approaching Soviet lines without authorization. You've given Ike and me more stress than the entire rest of the war combined. Patton's grin fades. But we're winning, Brad. That's the only reason you're not fired. Then I'll keep winning. Bradley looks at his friend, this impossible, ungovernable, brilliant maniac who's somehow ending the war faster than anyone thought possible. 4 words, George. What? That's all I could say when I got your position report. 4 words that sum up everything about commanding you. What were they? Bradley looks Patton in the eye. He's where? Closing. March through April, 1945. Third Army advances 300 meters across Germany in 6 weeks. They move so fast, their own commanders can't track them. Position: reports arrive hours late, already obsolete. Supply lines stretch to breaking. Communications fail constantly. And yet they win quickly, decisively, with fewer casualties than expected. He's where it becomes Bradley's constant refrain. 4 words, 2 syllables each. A question that's also an expression of disbelief, exasperation, and grudging admiration. Because Patton was always somewhere he wasn't supposed to be, moving faster than he was supposed to move, achieving objectives he wasn't supposed to reach yet. Bradley spent 6 weeks trying to track Patton and failing, because you can't track a man who refuses to stop. You can't control a commander who treats orders as suggestions. You can't coordinate with someone who moves faster than coordination allows. He's where the 4 words that defined the final months of the European War. Because with Patton, the answer was always somewhere impossible, doing something incredible, winning faster than anyone thought possible. Bradley would later say that commanding Patton took 10 years off his life. But when Germany surrendered on May 8th, 1945, and someone asked Bradley how Third Army did it so fast, Bradley gave the only answer that made sense. I asked, he's where, and Patton was already 50 miles beyond wherever I thought he was every single day for 6 weeks. And you let him? Bradley smiled. I didn't let him. Nobody lets Patton do anything. You just hold on and try not to die of a heart attack before he wins the war. He's where? 4 words, 1 question,